Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tatiana for you guys who don't know me. So we're going to be reacting to some James Charles mess. I have not had a James Charles palette in so long. I guess this is about his new palette or something he released that's messy and, you know, a lot of drama. I love the drama, y'all, so we're going to get up into it. I have not heard anything from him just because I don't read the news about the makeup world. I don't care to read it. I also just don't look up anything about him because he has a lot of controversy, but I will get into this mess because I am curious. So let's get into this reaction.
The other day, and all the
it's a pretty palette
from it. It's a mess, so let's get into it. Last week, we talked about James admitting to lying about liking a Morphe palette that he promoted years ago. James did a video with Lipstick Nick, and they were talking about the first time they ever worked together, and it was for a Morphe campaign shoot for the Dare to Create palette. This was James' first ever time working with Morphe. He was the face of the whole
palette was really pretty
line,
though.
Promoting the collection and talking about how much he loved it. Well, you can imagine everyone's surprise when James admitted to thinking that palette was actually hideous.
He did my makeup. It was
really?
for a 2017 Morphe palette called the 39.
He's so fake.
Dare to Create.
How did you remember that? That's a good memory. Okay, but I think enough time has passed now where we can comfortably say that palette was fucking idiot. But I will say that was like my first time working with Morphe, and I think they wanted to put me to the test to see if I was good to collaborate with, and that is the shoot that then got me my James Charles palette. So it was ugly, but I am grateful. Yes, blessing in disguise.
And I don't know why James thought it would be a good idea to admit this. All it did was make people lose trust in his recommendations, and
people bought that.
An example of why you shouldn't trust what influencers say. James is finally addressing the statement he made, and he's denying that he ever lied about once liking the palette. He says people are taking it way out of context, and he just meant that he no longer likes the palette.
Actually, let's talk about that. Somebody said, how are we to trust you when you talk about a palette that you hated? I've seen a couple of people talking about this
voice.
On TikTok.
Jeez, let me turn this down.
Lipstick Neck.
God.
So the drama channels who are screen recording.
He talks so fast, like,
so
calm it down.
I talked about how when I did my makeup with my friend Lipstick Neck.
What is this on?
I did a palette with Morphe a million years ago that now looking back.
That's not Instagram, is it? What is this app he's on?
Using this to be like,
they're like something like Asia, because you know they do all that
absolutely
stuff.
Not the case, and
pretty sure it's a new one that Americans use on.
At 17 years old, I got asked by Morphe to model for a palette.
He was 17.
I was not paid. I literally just had my code James, but it was not my palette.
I feel like he only do that every time there's like like once you get a lot of hate from it.
I was doing. It was not mine. And at the time, I thought it was a nice palette. I said yes. I had a great time doing it. It was an incredible
Seriously, I'm not even listening to anything you say. What is this app he's on?
I had fun. It was fun. But now, looking back 5 years later, I don't like the palette anymore. Everyone's taste changes, right?
And that makes
so
sense.
many makeup looks, so many outfits, so many hairstyles, so many videos that I made.
If that's true, that makes sense.
A young kid that I thought at the time were so fun and
so
so
I'm like, you wouldn't.
Looking back as an adult,
well, if you was 17 trying to make money.
That thing sucked. It just means that now I've grown up.
It wasn't an ugly palette though.
I'm interested in different things. So
I would have did more like the all bright colors though.
Anymore. At the time, it was an incredible opportunity for me as a 17-year-old kid. I had a great time modeling. I was excited to have the opportunity. That opportunity to work with Morphe is what got me my palette in the first place, because we had a great time getting to be on set together. But that was not my palette. It was literally just me taking photos for it. So that's it. That is it. Looking back now, I have different taste. I've elevated, I've grown, and yeah, I wouldn't do that photo shoot 5 years later, but that doesn't mean that it was a bad palette. That doesn't mean that I'm a liar.
You would have Morphe asked you how much you want to bet he would.
Since I was a teenager years ago. That's all.
I don't know what you think, but I'm not really sure I'm buying that. The way he worded it sounded like he was saying enough time has gone by, so people won't care that I admit to thinking that palette was ugly. I think he just didn't expect the response he received, and this is his way.
Me personally, the palette just had too many dark colors. I like the colors. So what is this palette that I wouldn't buy that? It doesn't look any. It looks so basic. I have all those colors in all my palettes already.
Since this will be the second palette with his name on it, a lot of people have been comparing it to the
That's the only
original James
second
Charles
palette,
with
really?
Morphe, and it sounds like a lot of people
They look
actually
exactly
miss that
like, well, no,
palette.
it,
Someone posted a video talking about the highlight shade in his Morphe palette and how they really need to find something similar. James actually stitched the video, and he said he had a dupe for that color in his new palette.
I have some good news for you. Now, we all love Ring Light. She was cute and she did her job for the time, but take a look at this. My new palette from my brand Painted called the Basic Canvas. This shade Finnegan is literally her brighter, more
I just went by that
glitterier,
palette. It's just, it's
sexier,
nothing that's
more
wow to
talented
me.
older sister. Look at those two shades. Launching November 14th on TikTok Shop and November 15th on Painted.
But he was
On
met
TikTok
with a lot
Shop?
of pushback from people saying they're not similar at all, and James was getting pretty defensive. One person said, "It's pink. James, please release that exact shade and same formula into a big highlight pan. We are pleading."
Oh, he's
I am
trying
on
too
my
hard
knees for
already.
this." And James responded,
Okay, people also doing too much, like, geez, they be too demanded, but that's what happens when you overdo it.
and almost looks like a copper color. The old one is giving actual
Bro.
moonlight glitter. And James did
wasn't
not
like-
this comment because he responded,
don't know.
"Copper, please be for real." Now let's talk about the actual launch. James was set to launch on November 15th, but decided to have an early release on TikTok Shop the day before. This is where a little bit of drama happened because Jeffree
TikTok
Star
Shop?
was also doing the same thing. He was also
I
releasing
love
his
Jeffree
Scorpio
Star.
palette on November 15th.
Oh, I
but
love
decided
his
to release
palettes.
it
I
a day
really want
earlier
some
on
Jeffree Star
TikTok
palettes,
Shop.
y'all.
A lot of people were like, this could get interesting because they're both in the same category, both releasing an eyeshadow palette.
But
so
also,
there could be some competition.
Jeffree Star is
Now,
more
let's talk about the
iconic than
obvious
him.
here.
His
They both
makeup is
have
more iconic.
Very different color stories. One of them
Yeah,
is just like
they
the
do.
name, basic,
Let
more
me
for
see.
everyday wear, whereas Jeffree's
Okay.
has more bold colors and might not be
Ooh.
for everyone. On November 14th,
Yeah,
when
that's
James
true.
launched his palette on
$55 for
TikTok Shop,
that?
he also decided to put it on sale. He was offering 25% off and free shipping. I haven't heard if Jeffree was offering any discount, so I don't think
Probably
he
not. He's
was,
like, you
but
get
the
what you get.
numbers
I mean, people will
definitely
still buy it.
reflected that. TikTok Shop actually tells you how many units were sold, and James had sold 3,945 palettes whenever this was taken, whereas Jeffree had only sold 210. Now, I don't have access to the updated numbers because TikTok Shop isn't available in Canada yet, but James did end up selling out
she's in
of his
Canada.
palette on TikTok. Keep in mind, these aren't the final numbers. These are just what was
So
sold
people
on
really do
TikTok
buy
Shop,
stuff on
and like
TikTok
I
Shop.
said, it's not even available
I don't
in
get on
every
TikTok
country,
that much,
so
but I
who knows
might
how many
order
palettes
some
were
stuff
sold
to
when
see
they
what's going
officially launched
on.
their own websites.
I think my mom
A
wanna
lot of
order me
people
a
are
light
saying
on
that
there.
There probably were a lot of factors that went into the
$55 for that? I have every color of that in all my palettes.
and the fact that he was offering
It's nothing-
a pretty good discount. It's still pretty shocking to see how major the gap in sales is, especially since there was a day.
Oh, that
people would be
wig though. Come
lining
on,
up for
Jeffree.
Jeffree's
That
palettes
wig.
and crashing
He has a
his
palette called
websites.
Orgy?
It makes me wonder
What
if
is
this
that?
feature of being able to
I need
see
to go
how
get
many
that
units were
palette.
sold is going to stop influencers from selling their stuff on TikTok. I mean, it's great if you know you're gonna get good numbers, but for
Yeah,
others, it
but
might not
like,
be that appealing to have your sales out there so publicly on TikTok. I will say, I
On
am surprised that
TikTok,
James
that's
managed
the
to have a
thing.
pretty successful launch on TikTok, given
But then at the same
everything
time,
that's
he's so
come out about him
controversial.
over
I
the
feel doubt
years.
anybody
I
would want to
feel
even
like his
work
first
with
launch
him right
with the
now.
paints wasn't the best at all.
I feel like Morphe would not
hardly
work with him
saw
no more
any
because of
reviews
all
for
that,
them,
everything
and
that's
I
going
thought
on.
Maybe that was because he's lost a lot of support.
Yeah, you
but
didn't-
I don't know what happened. with
All
this
support
launch.
going to you down the TikTok
Anyways,
shop.
guys, let me know what you think about.
Okay, let's talk about it. So the palette that James Charles had that everybody I guess was complaining about, the highlight that it wasn't like the other one. I feel like that's so weird because it's not easy. I guess you could say it's not easy to make that exact one. Also, it's like a million highlights. I would tell people not to complain about that. It's not that serious. You can easily go find another highlighter or figure it out. It's not that serious. I know a good highlighter is important, but I think people do too much, especially when they complain to the the creator about it and they constantly say, no, it's not like this. Everybody give you a different color. Also, if it's like, it's just not that serious, okay? Also, TikTok shop. You sell, I didn't know that people, like big makeup people sell makeup on TikTok shop. It's a good way to get it out there quicker, but TikTok is like also kind of controversial sometimes. You know, people can easily like bash it and it could go downhill so fast on there. But at the same time, I figure he has so many controversies. I doubt a lot of big makeup companies will work with him again to sell his product. And with the whole thing about him and this, his what is it? God dang, I already forgot. Y'all say y'all know his first James Charles palette and him not liking it. I think he was lying. He didn't like that palette. It wasn't that bad. I bought it, and I'm like, it kind of sucks. And of course, you would have backlash because people spent their money on it. You made millions of dollars from this palette, and it sounded like he was just saying Morphe wanted this, and he was just the face of it, and that he wouldn't do it like that. The palette was not ugly, actually. I would have did all bright colors, but that's just me. He just says so much, and he talks so fast. God, my head be hurting. But you can't. I don't trust nothing to say. Boy, I don't really care. But y'all, I was just trying to see. I was like, what's this about? I would not buy that palette. That palette was not cute. His new one. I would buy the Jeffree Star palette. I love Jeffree Star. I just love all his makeup, and I really need to stock up. So if you guys like this video, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next video. Bye.